Hello everybody, welcome back to the 80slashers.com YouTube channel. Today's video, I thought I would go ahead and make a video on my ranking of all of the Halloween films. Yeah, I think this would be something that's fun to do. We're getting close to the Halloween season, so I figured it's a good time to get one of these videos up on here. So before I begin, just let everyone know this is, just like everyone usually says, this is my opinion. I've read many articles online, I've watched many YouTube videos, people doing the exact same thing, and everybody has a different opinion. Just take it for what it is. This is basically, they're based on my experiences with each film. Some of it comes down to nostalgia, some of them just for what I look for in a Halloween film and a slasher film. Um, so yeah, that's basically, what this list is going to be. I'm not saying it's what I think are the best films, best made or best written, anything like that. It's just the films that in the order that I enjoy these films. It's all it is. Simple as that. So yeah, now I should mention, if you look in here, you'll see there's three films that I'm missing. I don't have three of these films on any physical media format. It's one of the reasons why I've held off on this video for a while, because it kind of bugs me I don't have them. But it's just one of those things where two of the three of them I don't like. So the few times I have come across them, the price asked is not, I just didn't want to pay that much for them because I just don't like them. So it's just one of those things, they've just never found their way into my collection at a reasonable price. If I ever come across them on DVD for, $1, $2, $3, that's the price point that I want, because I'm probably not going to watch them too many more times, because I really don't like them. So yeah, so just get that out of the way. Also, there's going to be spoilers in this video, so for those who haven't seen these or don't want to get ruined on them, maybe go check the ones out you haven't seen and come on back later. Because I'm not gonna talk big spoilers, but there will be some spoilers mixed in here. And the last thing, like I said, if you like what you see in this video, I actually wrote my full ranking on the website, 80slashers.com, of my, the ranking of the Halloween films, a little more in depth. So, if you like this and you want a little more detail, go on over to the website. That'd be a big help. I appreciate it. And yeah, there's more info there. All right, so the first movie is not here. Number 11 on the list, the one I like the least, is Halloween 2 from 2009, directed by Rob Zombie. Now, I'm going to be completely honest. Halloween 2, I didn't even finish it. It is one of, which is super rare for me. Anyone who knows me, and my OCD usually does not allow me to not finish a movie. But Halloween 2, I didn't finish. I turned it off about, I don't know, halfway through. The big reason for me was I liked the first film, and I was looking forward to the second film, and all of the nightmare, the dream sequences, it just completely ruined it for me. It kind of made me angry. And they were like 10-15 minute sequences, like you're watching a movie and you think you know what's going on, and then, oh, it was a dream, scratch that, and it starts over. I'm just like, what? It just really angered me to the point where I turned it off. I had to take a break from it, and I've never gone back. So that's the reason why it's number 11 on this list. I feel like I definitely owe it. I owe it a full watch through. At some point, if I come across it for the right price, I will buy it and I will watch it again. And this time, I know what to expect, and I'll watch the whole thing. And I think it will move up on this list. I do, but just for the fact that I haven't finished it, it can go no other place than last position on this list. Um, it's a shame because there was things in it that I liked. I liked the Michael Myers that we get in that film. Very scary, very intimidating. The violence and the kills. I just like the style of Rob Zombie, the way that he did that. It's just I just couldn't get past the weirdness of it. Um, so yeah, so coming in at number 11 is Halloween 2 from 2009. Coming at number 10, another one you don't see here. You probably never will, because this is a film that I really dislike, and that is Halloween Resurrection from 2002. Um, I really strongly dislike Halloween Resurrection, and I know there's people out there who like it, and I'm happy for you. That's great. I'm glad that there is people that like it. I'm not one of them. Um, Man, there's a lot. There's a lot of problems with that film for me. Um, the thing that drives me crazy the most is it kind of ruined. Um, I feel like it kind of ruined this film. This was the film prior to it, Halloween H2O, and the ending of this film. Like I'll get into this one more, but the way that this film ended, and then they started Halloween Resurrection in order to explain away the ending of this film in order so they can make a sequel, a follow up. They just completely wrecked it. The plot, the the execution. It just, oh man, it just really made me angry. But they needed to do. They felt like they needed to do what they had to do in order to you know get another movie going. I get that. That's fine. I understand. But then within the first few minutes, they kill off Laurie Strode, Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah, what kind of Halloween film kills off the main, like the lead actress? Like it just, and the way they did it, it was just it just, man, it made me angry. Um, so I'm like, okay, all right, fine. Like you butchered the previous film, you killed off the main star. There must be a reason for it. Like, which new actor and actresses are you gonna bring in? Tyra Banks, Buster Rhymes. Oh, let me say, Tyra Banks. She does, her acting is okay. She's not a terrible actress. She's not a great actress, but she's not terrible. Buster Rhymes, on the other hand, is the worst um, character in horror that I've ever seen. I think just absolutely terrible. They made Michael Myers a joke. Like when he's fighting him kung fu with Michael, it's just he was a joke in Resurrection. Just a terrible movie, a product of its time. It was made along around the same time when all these like reality TV shows were up and coming. Like the MTV Real World, Surreal Life, Survivor, all that stuff. It was just coming up around that time, 2002. And it was they made it to capitalize on the current fad, and they to throw in Michael Myers into that, it's just it was just a waste, just a wasted opportunity, and it's just a big pile of garbage as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, number 10, I I just really did not like that film. All right, so now we're gonna move on to some of the ones that I do have. So coming in at number 9, from 1995, we have Halloween 6, the Curse of Michael Myers. Let's move here so we can see his shining face. Um, yeah, I'm not a big fan of this film. Basically, if you don't know, I'm sure most of you do, but there's basically two films, two cuts of this film. This here is the producer's cut, and then there's the original theatrical version. Um, they are very quite different films. There's a lot of things. There's like whole endings added on, story plot elements, the editing. They're quite different. Um, and there's people who say that this is the only one to watch. This is the best version. And there's just as many people who say the original theatrical version. I don't know if that's based on nostalgia or what. But each version has their fans. Well, I'll let you know a secret. Both versions aren't very good, in my opinion. And the reason for it, it's just the story. The story of this film is just it. This is at the point. This was the last film before they rebooted it with H2O, and they were running out of ideas. Like the two previous films, they were starting to get into more of the supernatural stuff, and this was just over the top for me. Um, the whole idea. Well, like the story opens with Jamie Lloyd, who was the little girl in parts 4 and 5. She's like an adult now, and she's being rushed into like some secret underground medical facility. It looks like, and she's pregnant. We find out the baby is Michael Myers' baby, and the baby was put, like, I guess, put in there because Michael has a curse, and in order to get rid of the curse, he needs to kill his entire bloodline and pass the curse on to someone else. It's so convoluted and so messy. It just does not belong in a slasher film, and definitely not in a Halloween film. It's just, man, it was just unnecessary. We just need the straight up stock and slash type slasher film. That's what I want. That's what I want to see. I don't want all this extra plot. And it really ruined it for me. And it's too bad because um, there is some really good stuff in this film. The atmosphere in this film is really good. The lighting, the shadows, like the scenery. There's some really good stuff. Um, the version of Michael Myers we get in this is really good. There's some good kills. There's some really good slasher elements. If only the story wouldn't have been so messed up. And the fact that they felt that they need to release this like a different version of the film tells you that some people were very unhappy with the original. It's yeah. I don't know. I'm just not a fan of this movie. It's too bad. So number 9, The Curse of Michael Myers. All right. Coming in at number 8, from 1989, we have The Revenge of Michael Myers. And this is the last of the 80s slashers in the Halloween franchise. This film, I've always viewed this film as like a sequel. Like, well, it is a sequel, but like part 2 of Halloween 4. It's almost like if it was like one movie and they stopped it and they released one, they released it. Like that's what it feels like, kind of. It's just one big story. But unfortunately, the second part of this story, which is Halloween 5, isn't great. I feel like this isn't a bad movie. It's not a good movie. It's just kind of a forgettable movie. It's a little boring. There's not much that happens that's exciting. It's forgettable. This is the movie. Up until this point, we had seen supernatural abilities, with Michael, just by the fact that he can come back to life, he keeps regenerating. So there's some supernatural elements there. But this is the first film where somebody else clearly shows, some kind of supernatural abilities. And basically what it is in this film they make Jamie Lloyd, played by Danielle Harris, they make her basically a mute for majority of the movie. She doesn't talk. And it's revealed that she has like a telekinetic connection with her uncle. And she can sense where he is or when he's coming. And it's never really explained, like it doesn't work for me. I don't like that. Like I said, I just want the straight up hack and slash, stock and slash type stuff going on in these films. And just an added element that it's unnecessary. I don't need it. Um, and again, like the atmosphere is good. Um, like I said, she's wasted, especially after the end of part 4. The ending of part 4, they could have done so much more with her character in this film. they had her not talk, and this weird bond with her uncle. It's just, yeah, I'm just not a big fan. Like I said, it's not a bad film. It's watchable. It's fine. I still revisit it. When I'm going through the franchise, um, I'll still watch it. Part six is something I don't like to watch because it really makes me mad. This one is not that bad, but it's the beginning of it, and so yeah. So not too bad. The mask in this one is terrible. Really strange looking. It's in some people say, oh, it's just a mask. Who cares? But when the killer looks odd, it's a little off-putting. It just doesn't fit right, and I really dislike the mask in this one. There's one other film coming up that's worse than this, but this may be the one of the worst masks in the franchise. Which, to me, it's a big thing. When you watch the Friday franchises, um, the masks are all different, but they all look good in my opinion. Until you get to Jason Goes to Hell and whatnot. But these ones they go back and forth all over the franchise, and this is not a good one, mask wise. So yeah, so number 8, 1989, Halloween 5, Revenge of Michael Myers. Um, Number 7 is the last film I don't have. And it's Halloween from 2007, Rob Zombie's Halloween from 2007. Um, this is probably the first film on this list that I like. All this one and all the ones prior I have big issues with. Rob Zombie's Halloween, I liked it. I thought it was a good film. I know that's not a popular opinion. A lot of people have issues with the first Halloween, and I get it. Rob Zombie, like his style is you like it or you don't like it. I like his style of filmmaking. His writing is a little his writing is a little questionable. But his visual style I really enjoy, and uh, the issue a lot of people seem to have with this film is the origin story when it shows Michael as a young child and his family life. Um, I I loved that. I loved seeing that because we get to see the origin of a serial killer, like the psychology of him and his family, what drove him maybe to got where he eventually got. I liked it. A lot of people didn't. It's one of the reasons why I like this film. It's different. It's something that's it shows it fleshes out his character, and it's in the movies that were before it. It was a nice change of pace. It was like I said, it was yet again another reboot after Resurrection like almost killed the franchise, and I think it was great. Again, the Michael, that the version of Michael is it that we see in this film is fantastic. Like really scary, intimidating, violent. It's the most violent we've ever seen Michael Myers. Um, and I love that. I think it's fantastic. And it just like I said after part six, Resurrection. We finally get to Rob Zombies. It made Halloween scary again because these last few films they weren't very scary. Michael wasn't very scary. He was, like I say, in the film prior to this one, Resurrection, he was a joke. So this was something that was, I feel at the time, 2007, it was necessary. Um, so yeah, I really like this one. So um, yeah, number 7, uh, Rob Zombie's Halloween. All right, coming in at number 6 from 2018, we have Halloween 2018 edition. Um, I like this film. I thought this was, I was not expecting much, to be honest. It seems like with every time they reboot the franchise, I get a little less and less excited. Um, but I thought this was a really well done. Um, I, th- One of the best things about this was it was a complete reboot. This film takes place, um, the only film that in this canon that occurred was the very first film, John Carpenter's film. from part 2 all the way up to Zombies Halloween 2, none of that happened. So this is a fresh boot, like a fresh reboot. So there was no siblings, there was no nieces, there was no curses, there was no telekinetic connections between uncle and niece. None of that crap. It never happened. It never occurred. He went on his killing spree in Haddonfield one night. He got caught. He got institutionalized, and it picks up 40 years later. And I love that. That's one of the best things about this film. And the fact that it takes place 40 years later, that means the Michael in this version is old. He's like, I don't know what. How old was he in the first movie? 20? So he's, late 50s, 60s. And he's still super, super violent and vicious. He's the violence in this version is one of my favorites. It's like the perfect blend between the Carpenter Myers and the zombie Myers. He's just waiting. He's like really violent, really gritty. There's a scene that takes place with a couple of podcast reporters, and he chases them down, tracks them down. And there's a bathroom scene at like a gas station or like a roadside diner, something like that. Like it occurred in in the bathroom. And man, it's so terrifying. It's so much tension and violent. It's super, super well done. So I really like that about this film. Um, yeah, the only thing that I had an issue with about this film is there's some plot points that kind of made me kind of made me shake my head. They seem forced, they seem cheesy, they didn't fit in. I don't know. It just there was a few things that just it took me out of the film as they happened and made me like what, and made me question it. Like I won't get into it, because maybe I took it the wrong way. I don't know. But it just there was a few things that I didn't like story wise. If it wasn't for that, this would have been higher up on the list for sure. But sometimes that's what happens. So yeah, coming at number 6 in the franchise, 2018 Halloween. With more repeated watches, this may go higher. Um, but as it stands now, that's where I'm going to put it. And it'd be interesting because next year, 2021 and 2022, the next two follow-up films to this, Halloween Kills in 2021 and Halloween Ends in 2022. So that they also may play a role in how I view this film and the other one. So I'll have to do another ranking in 2022, and we'll see. It is exciting that we're getting two more Halloween films in the next 2 years. So that's fantastic. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see when that comes. So number 6, 2018 Halloween. All right, so coming in at number 5 on the list is from 1988, Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. This is a film I like. I like this film quite a bit. The best thing about this film for me, and I've said it before, I think in an earlier video, this film just feels like Halloween. It just brings me back to, my youth in the 80s when I was going out on Halloween night. It just has that feel. It just feels, I don't know, like the pumpkin-lined streets, the colors, the autumn leaves, I don't know, man, just something about this film. It just feels like Halloween. I love that about it. And the film itself is good. We get this is the debut of Danielle Harris in the role of Jamie Lloyd, and in this film, unlike Part 5, she's really good. She pairs up with the lead actress Rachel, and the two of them, fighting against Michael. They're a good they're a good team, like a teenager and like a little girl. You wouldn't think it, but they work really well together. They're both really likable. So yeah, the cast in this film I really liked. And the Michael in this film is really good. The mask doesn't bother me in this film, but the Michael himself is one of the better versions of Michael we've gotten, in my opinion. Yeah, this is a fun one. I really like it. This is the beginning in the franchise when we start to creep into some of the weirder storylines. In this one, it's not so bad. But you know, this is the beginning. This is the beginning, and then you get into 5 and 6, and they capped it at that because it got too much for I think for most people. For me, it did. I mean, you know, maybe other people disagree, but yeah, it started to get a little creepy, and it was you know basically the ending is where a lot of it the weird storyline started. A lot of people I hear don't like the ending. I love the ending in this film. I think it's fantastic with Jamie. Like I won't get into like the specifics of it, but it's a shocking ending. And like there's just the images you see of this little girl doing what she just did, and the look on her face, and Loomis letting out his no scream. It's great. It's really good stuff. Um, so yeah, Halloween 4 is a good one. It seems like the more I watch it, the more I like it, you know, because I've always had some issues with the plot and some of the story elements, but the more I watch it, it seems to be okay. So yeah, so that's number 5, Halloween 4, Return of Michael Myers. Number 4, from 1998, we have Halloween H2O. Um, this film, now, this film is also, like Resurrection, it's a product of its time. This came out in 98, which was 2 years after um, Wes Craven released Scream. And when Scream was released, it just kicked down the gates, and just like the late mid to late slasher craze of the 90s began. There was a ton of these films, and this is one of them. This is one of the better ones, I feel. But there was a lot from like 96 to 2000, and even into early like 2000, 2002. There was a lot of these films. It was a good time to be a horror fan. And this is one of the better ones in my opinion. But at the same time, it's even like you can set the box art. It's like I think people call it like the floating heads type of cover, and just like you know you see like the floating heads. Scream did it. I know he did Last Summer, Urban Legend. All those movies around this time. They Cupid. There's a bunch of good movies. But yeah, they're all very similar. They're cashing in on Scream. And this is no different. It has the young people, the hip, young, cool people fighting against like a killer. Um, it fits into that mold, but this is, it's still a Halloween film. It has Jamie Lee Curtis, which was a huge selling point. Um, and she's good. She's good. These actors are not too bad. They're not great. They're not bad. We got LL Cool J. You know what? He was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Compared to Tyra Banks and Buster Rhymes, he was phenomenal compared to them. But he was okay. He wasn't bad. Um, the worst thing about this cast is this friggin' mask. This is the film where Michael has the worst mask. I think he has like 3, 4, 5, 6 different masks. Like if you pay attention, almost every 3 or 4 scenes, it's like a different mask. Like they keep putting on different masks. I don't know the backstory behind it exactly, but it does it's distracting. I hate the mask in this, but the movement and the like Michael himself, I really like. It's just the freaking mask is terrible. But yeah, this was a really good Halloween film, and it was one that was badly needed because, like I said, this was like the real first reboot of the franchise. After Parts 4, 5, and 6, it played itself out. All the weirdness that was going on. This kind of rebooted it. It kind of took away all the niece and the cult and the curses, all that stuff, and just kind of focus again on what we wanted. Michael going around hunting, stalking, slashing people, and it just happened to have Laurie Strode is the final girl fighting them, and it was fantastic. And that leads me to the best thing about this movie is the ending. I loved how this movie ended. You know, it culminated with a showdown, a final showdown between Laurie and Michael, one on one, and there was a clear and decisive victor, and it was Laurie. And you know, again, spoilers coming, but she decapitates Michael with an axe, I believe. She just cuts his head clean off. Fantastic, and you see the head roll. It's great, and it was a good way to end. It's like, all right, that's it. It's over. Um, of course, 4 years later, Halloween Resurrection comes out, and they write it off as if, Michael, what was it? Before the final confrontation, he knocked out like a security guard or a police officer who took his outfit, and they swapped outfits, and then he like did something, and he cut his tongue off. He did something to his tongue or his mouth so he couldn't talk. So the whole end fight scene in this movie apparently wasn't Michael, it was the security guard, and she cut his head off. So in the next movie he wasn't dead, and he get to come back and kill her. Like, oh my gosh, like, just ruined this fantastic ending, all for the sake of cashing in on the new. Yeah, I I hate I hate Resurrection. But forget about that movie. The ending in this movie is fantastic. So I really like this one. So number four, Halloween, H2O. All right, number three, Halloween 3. Um, Now listen, I get it. There's a lot of people who you go online, and if you were to believe what you read online, this is the worst movie in the franchise. For one reason, no Michael Myers, no Laurie Strode, but more importantly, no Michael Myers. Only film without Michael Myers. I, I get it. I understand. We watch these movies to see Michael Myers, hunt and kill. That's what the Halloween franchise is about. But, this is I'm not ranking the top Michael Myers films. I'm ranking the top Halloween films. And like it or not, this is a Halloween film. It's part of the franchise. It's set in that world. John Carpenter is attached to this film. I think he's done some producing credits on this. Um, this film's awesome. Like, I don't like there's no Michael Myers. It's not a slasher. Um, Regardless, I'm ranking on my enjoyability of the Halloween films. This is a Halloween film, and I enjoy this one a lot. Um, this it, this film, when I mention Halloween 4 feels like Halloween, this is the only other film that may beat it. This film just drips in nostalgic 80s charm, man. This film, it sends me right back to like the early to mid 80s Halloween. Um and it's fantastic. It's really good. The plot of this movie is a bit like this company that's run by this old evil man, and his goal is to kill like all the children across the world. Like, that's crazy. Like, what a bold plot for 1982. Um, and yeah, that's what it is. And we get good old Tom Atkins. Tom Atkins. He's horror royalty. Like, I love Tom Atkins, and he comes and saves the day. And we get like these crazy masks that are super iconic. Even now, you get that Silver Shamrock song, which will be stuck in your head for a week after watching this. Um, this is just this is an awesome horror film. It plain and simple. Um, every Halloween you should watch this, because it's super fun. And the beauty is, if you don't want to watch too many Michael Myers films at Halloween, you can pick your Michael Myers film, and then you can watch this as well, because it's you're not going to get overloaded with Myers. So yeah, this is a fantastic movie. If you've never seen it, check it out. It's a really good one. If you feel like you don't like it because there's Michael Myers, just put the blinders on and just watch it for what it is, a Halloween movie, a horror movie, and it's fantastic. I don't know how anyone can not like this film. So yeah, number three, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch from 1982. Um, yes, Tommy Atkins. Yeah, I love it. All right, number two is Halloween 2 from 1981. Um, this is clearly the best of the 80s slashers in this franchise. There's only a few. And, you get 2, you get 4, and you get 5. So there's only 3 80s slashers in this franchise. And this is clearly the best. This is the one, it was made, like I said, 81, at the height of the 80s slasher craze. So it has that formula, all the things that have stood the test of time that we really want in our 80s slashers, and this has it. This is a fantastic film. We get Laurie Strode, who's she's a little dopey in this movie, because she's what, she just survived the prior night, but she's still really good in this. The Michael Myers we get in this is fantastic. The kills, there's some fantastic kills. The hot tub kill at the beginning of this is one of my favorite in the entire 80s slasher genre. I love that hot tub kill. So good. Yeah, it just had that the 80s slasher formula, and it worked. It's perfect for someone like me who's a fan of the genre. Yeah, I love this film. Um, the cool thing about this film is it takes place immediately after the first film, the original film. Like you can almost like splice the two. Like the first one ends, this one begins. You can almost splice them together, and it's one seamless movie. It's really cool how I like how they do that. It's great. Some of the stalking sequences are fantastic in this one, especially at the beginning before they get to the hospital. And yeah, the hospital, like almost the entire movie is set in this hospital, and it's fantastic. What a good location! Like I said, I've always said I'm a sucker for really good atmospheric locations, and this one is fantastic. A hospital setting which is strangely empty. Like there's only a few. I think it seems like Laurie's like one of the only patients in the entire hospital, and a few nurses and doctors and Michael. And but it's regardless of why why the hospital is empty. It's such a good setting. 'Cause all the lighting is dark. You get like the flickering fluorescent lights down like these long hallway corridors. Um, and like I said, Laurie, she just survived the first film, so she's all doped up on drugs, and she's all beat up. She's injured, and she's trying to run around in her hospital gown, and in these like crazy, in these long, dark, half lit corridors. Yeah, it just has a really good feel to it. Has a good ending. You know, Loomis is really good in this film. I really like him. He's really really intense. Um, yeah, Halloween 2. This is a good one. This is one of my favorite 80s slashers, let alone Halloween films. So yeah, coming in number 2 from 1981, Halloween 2. So of course that leaves probably no big surprise, but as the best film in the entire Halloween franchise, it is the original from 1978, John Carpenter's Halloween. Um, what can I say about this film? Really, you know, this is a masterpiece. It really is. It is one of it's one of my favorite horror films of all time. Like really, like it's so important. It's not an 80s slasher, but you know, it makes it into the 80s slasher genre channel because it is the film that directly inspired the whole 80s slasher craze. You know, if it wasn't for this, we probably wouldn't have had Friday the 13th. And then because of Friday the 13th, we had all the imitators and stuff that made the genre explode in 80, 81, 82. And it's all due to this because this was a perfect slasher film. Um, the just the atmosphere and the tension that was created in this film is so good. The stalking scenes, um, people are still making stalking scenes in horror movies today based off of this. They were done so well. Just like you could see him just like lurking in the shadows, hiding behind like a bush or a wall or something, and you get like the victim starts to sense someone's watching, but when they turn around, he's gone, and only to appear again a little bit later under a new device, hiding behind something. It's just that it just the tension just ramps up and ramps up and ramps up, and it's really good. It's man, it's so good. And when he finally strikes, he's violent. He's scary. Um, one thing I should mention is it's become like common today. It's not a big deal, but the idea of him wearing the mask, it was really effective in this film. Now there was films prior to this, of course, where killers wore masks. You know, you go back to like the Italian giallos of the 60s and 70s. You know, they had a lot of masks. But this is the first film. I'm sure there was some more before this, probably. Um, but this is the first one they used just an everyday, just an everyday mask, like a William Shatner, novelty store mask. but it was used so effectively to hide the appearance, and you see the eyes. It was just something about that really was off-putting, and that's why all the 80s movies, they all have masks. Most of the killers, a lot of them wear a mask of some sort. And it's because of this film. Like it was really effective, and you couple that with the with the stalking. Like you look back behind a bush and you see this crazy face peeking out at you. Just man, just so well done. Um, and like the music of this film, you talk about Psycho, The Exorcist, and you got Halloween. Those like the music is part of the film, like it's a character. It just you can't. Anyone who knows this film, you can immediately hear that music playing in your head. It's just iconic. It's part of the film. It's oh man, of course written by John Carpenter himself. Like this film is just so everything about it. It's almost a perfect slasher film. The ending when he just disappears. There's just so much good about this film. There's nothing I can say that people hasn't been said before. People don't know about this film, but I believe this is a masterpiece in not only slasher but in horror. This is just man, it's so good. And there's no way anything in this franchise could be number one other than this, in my opinion. Because like I said, I think it's one of the best horror films of all time. So yeah, that's it, guys. That's my ranking of the Halloween films. So yeah, I'm curious to see what everyone else thinks. I know a lot of people. I feel like most people are gonna have this number one, but everything else is up for a crapshoot. I think with everyone, like it's everyone has a different opinion. That's my opinion. Let's say a lot of it's based on nostalgia, but most of it's just based on what I look for in a slasher film, and with the exception of this one, of course. Um, but yeah, these are good films. I like this franchise. It's not my favorite horror franchise, but it's a good one. There's a lot of solid films in here that I like. I keep going back to and watching. So yeah, I'd be curious to know what everyone else's rankings are. Like top five, top three. So leave a comment below. Let me know. I'd be curious to know. And yeah, if you're subscribed to the channel already, thanks. Our subscriber count is slowly going up, so it's really exciting. Starting to getting close to 50, which which I know is not a lot. But for me, it is. I'm ecstatic. 50 people. When I get to 50, that's going to be pretty cool. So we're getting there. So if you haven't subscribed, uh, hit that button and subscribe. I have lots more planned for the channel. I'm going to keep doing these type of videos. So yeah, guys, that's about it. So until next time, all right? All right, see ya.